Yo, what's poppin' everybody? Saber4, and I am pleased to show you guys a Charizard deck profile today. We're gonna look at this team up Charizard, and I'm gonna show you guys matches, of course, after this. Now, it's kind of exciting because throughout all of the history of Pokemon TCG, Charizard has been famous for always having pretty shit cards, like almost no cards that could work. All these cool looking Charizard cards that you just needed so many energies, uh, big energy costs, discarding energies, and he could never work. I mean, throughout all these years, you'd be probably hard pressed to find even like 5 good Charizard cards. I mean, I can only think of the Arceus one of the Flash Fire X's, and this one that are good. Like, basically nothing else. All of the Charizard cards are bad. But indeed, this one from Team Up is very, very good. In fact, they didn't just make it a good card, they made it a really good card, finally. So, Continuous Blaze Ball. This is a Charizard style attack or quasi style attack. You do a lot of damage times the energies you discard. You discard all fire energies from this Pokemon, and it's going to do times 50 while you're already starting at 30. So what this means, if you just discard 2 to meet the energy cost and attack, you can do 130. You discard 3, you're at 180. So if you attach a choice band, 210, enough to get one-hit knockouts on most of the Stage 1 GX Pokemon. And the beauty of this Pokemon is that it doesn't have a cap. So as many energies as you discard, you can get the respective knockout. So we can even discard like 5 energies, knock out a big tag team GX Pokemon like Snorlax. It's excellent. Now, the most excellent thing about this card that really makes it work compared to all the other Charizard is that it finally can get the energies on himself or herself with no problems. Roaring Resolve is its ability. You may put 2 damage counters on this Pokemon. It's a small cost to pay. And if you do, you search your deck for up to 2 fire energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. So it's great. It's very flexible. You can even get 1 energy if you only have 1 left in the deck. You can even get 1 energy if you only need 1 energy, 1 extra energy. So you don't burn through extra energies, attaching extra energies and discarding them when you don't need them. But it's just great. You're grabbing the energies from the deck. It's just so consistent. It means that you only have to worry about getting the Charizard out and then you grab the energies. You don't have to worry about adding them in the hand with things like Professor's Letter, which we don't even have. You don't have to worry about any external energy acceleration. He'll just grab the energies on himself and he can attack no problem. Very, very good. Now, this means that once you use this ability, it's like its starting HP is 130. It is a bit sad, but it's a small price to pay for such a great effect. If you don't use the ability, or if you just want to know its HP is pretty much 150, as you guys can see. It's very good HP for today's metagame. True retreat cost isn't so bad, and water weakness kind of standard. I only wish, like my small gripe, it'd be cool if it had like a fighting resistance, like the Arceus Charizard had, like other Charizards before it. That's the only really not bad thing, but just a small thing that it's missing that would have made it even more perfect. But excellent, excellent Charizard card. We're going to make it work. Great stage 2 from Team Up. So the line is standard. You need your basic Pokemon. Charmander. I'm running this Charmander with 70 HP from Team Up. There is a 70 HP one from Burning Shadows as well. But this one has a better attack, I'd say. You do Ember. If you must attack with this Charmander, doing 1 for 30 is good, even if you discard the energy. I've considered running the 60 HP one and running Elm, but I mean, I don't know. I decided to build like this, like not run Elm, just run a bunch of turbo supporters like Lily and run Ultra Balls and stuff. You guys are gonna see soon. We need one stage 1 guy as well, and I'm running this Charmeleon. There is a cool looking Charmeleon from Burning Shadows as well. It actually looks much better than this one, but this one has better attacks. Farfang, you do 30 for 2 and you burn. The other one can do 30 for 2 and then it has a big attack that it's 30 for, oh no, 90 for 3 or 70 for 3, something like that. Uh, but I like the fact that this guy burns when he attacks, so if we ever have to use this guy, it's we get the burn too. It's a much better stage 1 in emergencies. Okay, so this is the main line, and then we're going to run a bunch of support Pokemon. So we got this Moltres right here. Honestly, I couldn't really find many uh, many Pokemon that can support Charizard, like additional attackers. Very many Pokemon like that. So this Moltres with Assistant Heater, it does 30 for 1, and we can grab a Fire Energy from the hand to attach it to one of our bench Pokemon. I guess if you don't open with Jirachi, since I don't have many, unfortunately, I only have one, then you can use this, do damage, and get energy from the hand attached from the Pokemon. It's still not too bad, even if it's not from the discard pile. It's a nice little basic Pokemon, 120 HP, only 1 retreat cost. Why not? And then the rest is basically just pure support. First and foremost is this Jirachi right here. Now, in an ideal world, if I had like 2 or 3 of these, I would run more of these and then just drop, let's say, 1 Moltres, or run only 1 Moltres and add more Jirachis in. It's just an excellent card helping you set up. Not really any drawbacks unless you get stuck there and your opponent doesn't kill you. But if they're not attacking the Jirachi, then it doesn't matter. I run a bunch of switches to get this guy out of the way. It's just an excellent card. I'm really seeing a lot of play in all decks right now. Uh, it really is like the new Lele in a way, even though Tapu Lele GX is still great, of course. Next up, I got this Mr. Mime. This is going to be my new Mr. Mime replacement. I like this guy, even though Bench Barrier is probably a better ability. This Scoop Up Block effect is also good. I really like that I can make my opponent's Acerolas useless. My opponent can't use these pickup cards. It has a lot of sort of implications like that where you can annoy your opponent as long as it's around. This deck aims to get one-hit knockouts, so normally you wouldn't be too worried about Acerola anyway, but it's just a nice little support guy to have. I like running my Mr. Mimes. I like the art as well on this one. It looks pretty sweet. Oh yeah. Okay, and then the last Pokemon is this Emolga. Now it might be weird for you guys to see this Pokemon here, but it is in here for it serves a couple of purposes. If you guys have watched my Gengar Tag Team GX Gengar deck for the expanded format, maybe you'll have an idea. But basically, this Pokemon is in here because it has free retreat, meaning that if I open with it, I can move it out of the way and put Jirachi in when we search it with Nest Ball or something. Like if we don't have Jirachi, but we have Nest Ball and we open up with a Molga. It's a nice little thing to do when you don't have all of the basic Pokemon that you need. Like I would need more Jirachis. So since I don't, this is sort of like an alternative for you guys that don't have all the cards as well. So you can do this, the first thing. The other thing is that, like I've said, I don't have a lot of different Pokemon in here. It's just Charizard line. So it gives me the opportunity to run a bunch of basics so that we don't mulligan and give our opponent free cards. That sucks. I aim to have at least 10 basic Pokemon in all of my decks, and preferably you want to hit like 11 or more if need be. And the other thing is that you can use the effect, search other Emolgas, and then you basically acts kind of like a propagation execute. You basically make your Ultra Balls costless, all these discarding cards, thins the deck, these sorts of implications. It seems kind of weird, but trust me, it works. Now, one thing you can't do that I thought of doing is maybe drop in this, adding things like the Dunsparce, so we attach a fire energy on that Pokemon and search our basic Pokemon reliably that way, and then you can just move Jirachi in the active position, and if your opponent doesn't knock it out, then you can use Stellar Wish too. But honestly, the fire attachments, the manual ones, even though they don't seem very significant when you have Roaring Resolve, they kind of are for you to build up the energies and get one-hit knockouts on even the biggest Pokemon. So I don't know if I want to spend an energy on something like Dunsparce. But anyways, these are the Pokemon, only 14 Pokemon, and it should be 10 basics. We got 4, 6, 9, 10, 11 in this case, actually, so that's good, even better. And now for the trainers. Rare Candy is pretty much self-explanatory. We're running a stage 2. You want to use this card to get these guys out. Then we gotta have our searchers, 3 Nest Ball, get those Charmander and other basic Pokemon quickly. Depending on the game state, you want to get Jirachi maybe. or just Charmanders, anything else really. Even Emolgas, if you can really help it, you have everything else, then you can just get the first Emolga so you can start searching the other ones, get those combos going. Run the Ultra Ball, of course, triple Ultra Ball. A reliable way to search is our Charizard, since we don't have things like Dive Ball and stuff in the Fire Pokemon, and this is a standard format. Ultra Ball is just your best way to search the sky, and we can minimize the discarding with things like a Mulga and shit. And discarding a few fire energies isn't really that bad because we run recovery cards for that anyway. I'm going to get to the recycler later. But you run the two switches, standard cards. You got to run these. I don't run fucking what's it called? The escape board. I just run an extra switch as opposed to one switch, one escape board. Emolga has free retreat. Charizard has two, so I'm going to work on him, and you normally want a choice band on this guy anyway. So really, I just would rather have an extra switch, get rid of Jirachi out of the way. People like to run the Absol tech from Team Up to make Jirachi stuck there. So switch is just a better alternative if you ask me. Uh, so this is why it's in here. Double switch. What else do we have here? I gotta have my two field blowers. Get rid of those tools and fucking stadiums. This card is becoming more and more useful per factor, I guess. You could get away with running one, but I'm pretty consistent with my skeleton, so I run my two. If you want to drop this and add something else, you're free to do so. It might not be bad, but I just like having two around. Never know when you need it. Sometimes in certain games you don't even need a single one, so that's why I'm saying this. Okay, what else do we have? The tools. We got 3 choice bands as the only tools in here. These are to boost Charizard's damage. Even though he can do a lot of damage, you kind of do need that extra oomph to get those knockouts. I mean, if you can use the attack, use like Roar and Resolve while you're still setting up, your opponent's setting up, do this like 2 times, then he doesn't really need the choice band. He can get most knockouts, but you don't always have that luxury. You kind of use Roar and Resolve, and then you gotta attack, manual attachment, and the choice band is your best bet. So this is why those are in there. Nice. And then the last tech card, I guess, I have double stretcher here. Now, normally I would run one rescue stretcher, but as you guys have noticed, I didn't touch upon this, but I only have 2 of these Charizards. Normally you want to run at least 3. It might not be bad to run 4, but 3 is probably the best number. I just have 2, as you guys can see, so once again, you guys are looking at a deck that's not really complete. But you guys can see that my alternative, I show you guys like alternatives. Like for example, if you only have 2, then the best substitute would be something like an extra stretcher. So that if you use up your Charizards, you can use this to get them back, kind of thing. Alright. And that should be it. All that's left is the stadiums and the supporters. And we gotta talk about the recycler too. But for the stadiums, I run the One Shrine of Punishment. This is another card that helps us put damage counters on GX Pokemon, help that Charizard get those easy one-hit knockouts. It really puts in a lot of work. This is why I'm not running Tapu Lele GX. I have this thing where since if I'm running a card like this, I don't want to run my Lele, give my opponent an easy thing to pull. He's forced to knock out 6 Pokemon like this, get 6 prizes. So this is where the Shrine comes in. Hit those GX Pokemon. This is an anti-meta deck for the most part, since you're running a Stage 2 Pokemon, non-GX. And then the other stadium, we're going to run our Heat Factory Prism Stadium, of course, for Fire Energy, Fire Pokemon. This card, like all of the Prism Stadiums, has a little floating effect where they gotta get rid of it with another stadium. They can't get rid of it with Field Blowers and other effects. And you can discard Fire Energies, draw 3 cards. Excellent card to boost our consistency. And discarding Fire Energy cards, you got to be careful because a lot of times I came close to losing them all. But this is where the Energy Recycle comes in. So you got to remember, this guy grabs the energies from the deck, which is just great. But this way we don't use energy retrievals, we use a card like this where it just puts the cards back in the deck. So it works out great like this. This card will shuffle 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your deck. So a lot of mass recovery and works excellently. Uh, that's not even a word. Works great, let's say, with Charizard. I'm only running 2, but it should be a fair number. I have 12 fire energies in the deck, and you want to get one-hit knockouts when you use this guy. You don't just want to do damage and not KO Pokemon. So wait until you get a bunch of fire energies there, and then use this. You shouldn't use this when you're going to use supporters or when you still know you have fire energies in the deck, because you don't want to shuffle fire energies and then use a supporter and draw the fire energies and shit. You gotta time this effect right. But it's an excellent card. You must have it in a deck like this for Charizard to keep having energies around and getting knockouts. Okay, and now for the supporters. Cynthia is standard, run 4 of these. Then I run my double Lily. This is excellent turn 1 with the Ultra Balls, the other discarding options, and Nest Balls and shit. She's gonna net us a lot of cards. Next up, I got the fucker that's trying to be like Juniper and Sycamore, or I guess there's 2 of these guys. It looks really fly in this full art. Uh, it's basically, it is a shittier Sycamore and Juniper, like I've said. What it does is it gives you a little bit of flexibility. So instead of drawing seven cards, as opposed to drawing 7 cards, you get 5, but you can look at the top card of your deck and sort of uh, gouge, what's the word? Sort of check if that card is good, you add it. You're gonna draw from the top of your deck, or if it's probably a card you don't want, then you draw from the bottom. So it gives you that little flexibility. I'm trying to think of a word, but I can't remember it in English. You guys understand what I mean. You gives you the opportunity to check and gives you that little bit of flexibility when it comes to what cards you're going to get in your hand as opposed to drawing 7. Sycamore and Juniper would obviously be better, but since we don't have them, this is the closest thing to that card. They look really cool, that's why I decided to run them. The bosses in the train in black and white, the battle tower shit in that game. Okay, and then the last 2 supporters, or actually not last 2, we still have quite a few. I run the one Volcano. This is like a Skyla guy. Get me those rare candies. Any item. Titan Liza is quite handy still. You shuffle and draw 5. The switching effect is always handy when you run cards like Jirachi. And then I've got my Guzma 2, one of Guzma. This guy's pretty good. Also a switching method and pulls opponent's Pokemon. And then last but not least is Eriga's Hospitality. Now I tipped this card last on purpose because this card is really good, but if this was expanded, or if we had like other options, I mean, it's a good card, I guess. Maybe in situations it was just bad luck, but it can be pretty bad sometimes. Like I've noticed that maybe she's the only supporter I have in hand, or the only supporter I reveal with Jirachi, and my opponent only has like 2 Pokemon down. So if I use it, I just draw 2. If I don't, and I try to save it to get maybe a little bit more value next turn, if I don't see a supporter, then that ends up being bad too. So you gotta be careful with this card. I only run 1, but if you're really unlucky with her, then she's not gonna net you a lot of cards. Then there's the condition where if you have more than 5 cards in your hand, you can't use her. She's still a very good card. Don't misunderstand me. There's situations where it's the best supporter you can use, but just keep in mind that she can be dead sometimes too. And I've been becoming a little bit iffy on her. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bit of bad luck. We'll see. Okay, and then the last thing, just 12 fire energies, and this is the deck. So Charizard deck, guys, team up, pretty cool. It's a really reliable ass deck, to be honest. I mean, it's not going to be easy to get those one-hit knockouts on the Tag Team GX Pokemon, but if you get a little bit of, if you can get like a few turns and you manage to use Roar and Resolve like twice, you got the Choice Band on, you manually attach fire energies, you can even knock out those Pokemon, and he's pretty good. Like this is one of the greatest Charizard cards we've ever seen, to be honest. It's been a long, long ass time. So yeah, stage 2 deck, anti-meta deck. This is how I'm working with it now. I'm going to show you guys some matches. Do keep in mind that this probably isn't like maybe the best way to build the deck. Like I've said, I would run 3 Charizard and just drop a stretcher, but I don't, so that's why I'm running it like this. If I had a few different cards, like more of these Jirachis, I would probably run the deck slightly differently. But it is still a pretty excellent deck. I've really been enjoying it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys subscribe and leave a like. Share this with your friends. Subscribe to my channel for all things Pokemon TCG. I have everything, almost everything to have you covered. If you're a Pokemon TCG fan, either old school stuff or contemporary stuff, I probably got you covered. Check out my social media. I normally don't talk about my social media links, but I always have them in my descriptions. If you guys aren't on YouTube all the time and you don't want to miss my videos, or you want to keep in touch, you should add me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't post shit on Instagram, and I don't really use my social media. I just share the videos and stuff. But if you want to add me, they're there. Other than that, thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you on the matches. Say Wolf 4. Say.